Right. Bring him in. DJ Bean, Edmonton's #1 plumbing heating company, Star Mechanical, in the flesh. It's great to do this.
It's so great to be in Edmonton, sincerely. I mean, I feel terrible, and this is the worst day of my life, and you said your laptop died on the show.
Yes.
Today on What Chaos, I was hoping that I would die on the show, so I wouldn't have to keep doing it, but we're all so sad. Pete's sad. Sean is sad. Even if you aren't the biggest oil man, everybody wanted a series.
Yeah, and it's just not played out that way at all. They gave us some hope yesterday. Like, we were just talking then. If Warren Fogle, when he scored that goal, it's like, how do you not build off that? And then they just absolutely collapsed.
Well, they don't ask how many, or they don't ask how. They ask how many. And to that point, the Oilers' answer to that question was 2 for the entire series.
Yeah.
So while I love seeing UNH man, I'm a graduate of University of New Hampshire myself, Warren Fogle score, God, it's like the depth has come through for the Oilers, or what you would call depth when your top guys are going. But instead, just the offensive production has been replaced by the guys at the bottom of the roster that if it were happening in the Dallas series, you'd say, okay, yeah, like Dylan Holloway is getting going. That's fantastic. Philip Broberg is stepping in and he's producing. That's fantastic. When that happens in concert with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid and the power play as it got going in the last couple of games of the Western Conference Final, that's when you talk about having depth, and it's so incredible. The position in which the Oilers find themselves is asking, why can Warren Fogle do it? Why can Ryan McLeod do it? Why can Ryan McLeod find himself in a position to score a second goal in consecutive shifts to tie this game and send this place into a frenzy? That, I mean, thank God we at least got that third period, because this is my first time in this building. This is my first time in Edmonton. I've seen the Oilers play in person countless times, but never here. And the idea that I and so many people were being robbed of the Stanley Cup atmosphere of the Oilers being in this thing. We finally got it in the third period. Completely agree with what you were doing with your dad yesterday of saying, like, guys, we're going to see a bonkers third period. We're going to see some magic here. And I felt like we were seeing it. I was Pete was saying on the What Chaos stream, it got into a position where it was next goal wins the series. When it was 4-3, next goal won the series, and there wasn't a next goal, and that won the series.
So then no one will win the series?
Yes, it's a tie.
In my eyes, yeah. Just like
man.
2006. No one won that one, actually.
Yeah, they
They
canceled
didn't have it,
Yeah.
First
which
one
was the
ever.
weirdest
Yeah.
one that they didn't have.
Yeah.
It's such a missed opportunity. And if you would have again asked me at the beginning of the series, like, hey, what's going to happen if the Oilers lose this thing? I probably would have been like, well, Stuart Skinner will be brutal or something. Well, he hasn't been brutal. I would have said they're going to get no depth scoring and lose a bunch of games 4-3. That hasn't even been happening. The fact that the stars are gone, that's so deflating, and it's the last thing that I really thought would happen. And here Gregor has the quote from Draisaitl. I pride myself on being good in the playoffs and playing well. I just can't seem to get anything going. And, like, to their credit, like, the power plays looked good. They just couldn't solve Bob. Outside of the power plays, like, they're not even getting a sniff.
Yeah, I think that there is and I say this endearingly, I think that there is a stubbornness on the part of the greatest hockey players in the world, the greatest offensive hockey players in the world, that you don't tell us how we score goals. You don't tell us how we generate chances. Like, why is this the greatest power play we've ever seen in our lives? It's because they move the puck around between 5 brilliant offensive players, one of whom is a defenseman, and eventually on that 6th, 7th, 8th pass, find the back of the net because they get Leon his shot, or they get the puck to Hyman in front of the net. You can't really do that in this series right now with how good the Panthers sticks have been. And I really have come away so impressed with how the Panthers have adjusted, adapted, whatever you want to call it, where in game one, they were trying to play the way that they play, which is we're going to be really aggressive. We're going to try to force turnovers. We're going to be all over you. We're going to swarm you. We're going to step up at the offensive blue line. And you know what? Sometimes when we do that, the puck's going to go the other way, and you guys will have scoring chances, whatever. That was game one. The Oilers had a million chances off the rush. They had a million high danger chances. And that is how the Panthers play. And generally, it worked for the Panthers against Boston, against Tampa, and against New York, because when they are jumping up and being so aggressive, they are keeping the puck in the offensive zone. The Oilers always looked like they were going to be the perfect foil for that, because when they do get that odd man rush, the Oilers have the horses to score. I kept saying going into this series, like, the Panthers are used to controlling the play and staying in the offensive zone, and then whatever, when it goes the other way, it's just Pavel Zacha. Who cares? When you're playing against the Oilers, going the other way, if that's Connor McDavid or that's Leon Draisaitl, we all know how it's going to go. After game one, the Panthers really, really adjusted with just how they would basically torment the Oilers, which was, we're just not going to let you pass the puck to the front of the net. Our sticks are going to be incredible. And in game two, the Oilers, as you said, didn't get a sniff. As the game went on, third period, game three, the Oilers were able to get the puck to the middle of the ice a little more. But they seem like a frustrated team that is used to choosing how they're going to create the perfect scoring opportunity. And we know, we've seen time and again, when the Oilers create that opportunity, it ends in the back of the net. And the combination of those opportunities being limited and some, I'll say, maybe Pete's getting to me. Pete thinks the Bob has been overrated in this series, but they've been getting good. They've been getting good to great goaltending. Pete thinks that Bob has been overrated in this series, and that goaltending has mattered a lot less than we thought it would. And I'll give credit to Pete there and agree with him. Stu has been fine plus, would we say?
I would agree.
Hasn't been bad. I mean, I was MFing him on the second goal.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people were putting that on CC. I put knowing CC is on the ice on Nurse. You can't turn the puck, or you can't misplay the puck there when it is Cody CC. But we had Steve Peters, longtime video coach of the Arizona Coyotes, who I would strongly recommend using on your show, because he's just incredible. The way that he sees plays and can explain what's going on, because he's just used to pouring through video, is incredible. He noted, there's frustration with Stu in that moment, and it was a bad play, but Cody Ceci also has the power there to save the day.
Pin him.
Yes, and just
knock the puck.
And just be a little more physical and get your team out of that situation. And the Panthers typically, Pete said that after, which is like, the Panthers can count on their guys that when there is a lapse or something does go wrong, that a second mistake isn't made to cover that first one. That's not what the Oilers do. I think that the Oilers maybe have a little more afraid to make a mistake, afraid of it being on me. So I'll try to cover it up, and that's how things compound.
Well, that's like what we said about the first two goals. Like, obviously, we just broke down the second one there, but even the first one, like, Bouchard makes the error on the blue line, on the opposition blue line. Ekholm doesn't get his stick down in the right place. McDavid misses a guy. Draisaitl misses a guy. It's just like everybody makes the wrong play in that scenario, and it ends up in the back of the net. And like you said, Florida's just simply not doing that at all. But I'm curious, like, someone put in the chat there before, I think his name was PJ, that this building wasn't rocking last night. Obviously, it was third period. Yes,
the soul got sucked out of it a little bit.
But like,
second.
it came right back when Broberg scored, and it was exciting. But like, you had a kind of an interesting vantage point from the game yesterday. How was that?
I mean, pre-game, announcements, Enter Sandman, the whole thing. I took a video of it, and as I was taking a video of it, I was like, the best part of this is I'm going to watch this video back, and it's going to suck, because it's not what I like. It's not because it sucks, because like, it just will not do it justice.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, I've been to, I was at every Vancouver game in 2011. I've obviously been to a bajillion Bruins games, and every building has its own charm. And obviously the Bell Center, like they all have their qualities that just make you feel like, oh my God, this is, I'm going to go deaf. The passion in here, the like, what I'll say here, I didn't get the sense that they just needed to like play loud noises to get everybody ramped up. There was like a genuine energy of, there could have been no PA, there could have been nothing playing. And at least when people arrived and as the game was getting started, there was an energy in here that was incredible, and I was so glad that I got to experience it. I didn't experience it for another, Tyler, hour, 40 minutes, something like that, 2 hours.
When they made it 4-3, this place picked up in a hurry.
But I'll after you were both in the building too, after that second period,
bad.
man, it emotionally emptied in here. And they got it back, but man, I was sad that I was like, man, this can't be the first game that I see in this building. But then again, after the second period, I snapped out of it and also had they're going to win this game 6-4. Oh my God. And I'm going to see the craziest thing I've ever seen. Got kind of close, but when you fall down 2-0, losing a close game doesn't do you any good. It's essentially the second to last nail in the coffin.
It was actually kind of crazy yesterday. Just the comeback, obviously, that wasn't. But then those last few minutes of like, okay, there's a minute left. The big boys are on the ice. Everyone was so amped, and then it just ended.
Florida did a great job of kind of like you were saying,
30 seconds.
Kept it all to the outside, and any puck that comes to the middle, whack, whack. And it's just like, it doesn't even look like they're making good plays, but yet they're stifling you. It's beyond frustrating. And that's what happened in the last minute because they didn't get a sniff.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I checked in on the live stream that what Chaos was doing. And I was sitting in the area I was sitting, and I wasn't like showing the game or anything, but I was watching the game as I was checking in on the live stream, and I yelled out at one point. I was like, "Good stick! All right, good stick!" And I was probably a calendar minute ahead of the boys who were watching on TV. And they were like, I wonder what DJ was just so excited about. Let's see what it was. And it was the play where Bouchard broke up the pass with, I don't know, like 5-6 minutes left or something. And it was a nice play. And they were like, DJ was warranted for having that reaction. But also, that is something that the Panthers do 500 times a game. But because the Oilers are in the position that they're in, and let's face it, because Bouchard is not the strongest defender, like, this is a high moment for DJ that he's so happy that he has to exclaim, like, what a play. But the Panthers do that type of stuff regularly.
All right, before we let you go here, a lot of people in our chat were very excited to see that you made the trip out to Edmonton, and I picked you up in the Nation truck.
Oh my God. How did we? I mean, we buried the lead. Forget the series. The fact that when I walked out of the airport, there was a massive Nation truck waiting for me, and I walked up to it because I'm documenting it for some what Chaos purposes. I had the phone camera rolling, and I just like walked up, and there wasn't even a thought in my head like, what if this isn't Tyler? What if this isn't for me? And it was amazing. He rolls down the window, get in, buddy, and the vibes were so high. But you know what? We can get those vibes high enough.
Yeah.
Take a 2-0 lead in the first period. I'm gonna talk myself into these silly boys winning 4 in a row. People forget. 4 is 1/4 of 16, which they did. And I'll tell you what, during that 16-game win streak, look it up, the competition was even harder. So check those numbers. That cake will bake. Look at those numbers.
What have you made of the city, though? Your first time here?
What have you been doing?
Yeah, what have you been
I've loved it. Honestly, I've been walking around as much as I can. I've been coming to stuff like this. I went to the Canadian Ice House. Is that what that would be called before the game? And it was a mad scene in there. Yeah. It was amazing. Obviously, like seeing Oilers fans from all over. I talked to a guy called Connor from Australia, and he was so excited. And I'm feeling for him right now because I'm sure he was like, God, why did I fly all this way? But the excitement from all the fans and like people who love Oilers Nation, like I was getting stopped. Like I got stopped more yesterday in Edmonton than I do in Boston, which like Boston is where I like go on TV and do stuff where like hopefully people should be watching and consuming this stuff. But like people were they were like, yo, love Oilers Nation, love what KI, like all these various things. Like they are all heads. They are for real, and they're so excited. And shit, they should be, man. I don't want to do the, like, no matter what happens, they should be proud of the team or whatever. But, like, this has just been such a fucking crazy season for the Oilers that they should fucking be here. And that was my long way of saying, like, I've loved the city and I've loved the hockey fans in the city. Everyone's so nice. God, I wish they were getting a little better right now, though.
Yep. This place will be back in action tomorrow for Game 4. And if you're the Oilers and if you're an Oilers fan, just one game at a time.
That's what. Hey,
game at a time.
This is what I said on What Chaos today. I don't need them to win 4 games in a row. I need them to win 3 games in a row, and then if they don't win the 4th game, I'm going to light myself on fire. That's all. That's all I'm asking. It's not about winning 4 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, DJ, we appreciate your time, man. We love that you came out to
You guys are the
Edmonton.
best. It's amazing being here in person with you guys.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.